Happy Sunday, my world. Happy whenever you'll see this in your world, okay? Bienvenidos a mi canal. Welcome back to my channel if you know me. Thank you so much for coming back to see it, girl. Appreciate you. If you do not recognize this face right here and this little raspy voice, my name is Latrice. Nice to meet you. And this right here is Faith by Latrice. Yes, where faith is the muscle we exercise around here. Now let's get on into it, y'all. No dilly-dallying, porque mira, destruida right now. When I tell you God just wrecked me, I was on my 20-minute read for today, and all I got through was 2 paragraphs. Let me tell you why. We finna jump right on into it. No dilly-dallying. What? All right. This is coming from Nehemiah 2, okay? Nehemiah 2, 2-5. So let me give you a little backstory. So basically, Nehemiah is part of the children of Israel. They got captured, right? Taken over, whatever, by Babylon. So Jerusalem right here, a couple cities, here's Babylon. They taken captive by Babylonians, right? Boom. So they're captive, right? And Nehemiah is a cupbearer for a king. We're going to call him King Art. He was one of the captives for the king. And what had happened was Nehemiah had heard about his town, Jerusalem, and how people were suffering there. The city was burned, it's desolate, the walls are down, everything's been destroyed, all the things. And he hears about it while he's in Babylon, and he's saddened. He's like, oh my God, my people, I want to go do something about it. I'm sad that this is what's going on with my people. Let me tell you what happens. Let me read you the scripture, and then I'm going to read you the thing. Oh God. It says really quick, So the king asked me, this is Nehemiah speaking. So the king asked me, why are you looking so sad? You don't look sick to me. You must be deeply troubled. Then I was terrified. Nehemiah says that he was terrified, but he replied to him, long live the king. How can I not be sad? For the city where my ancestors are buried is in ruins, and the gates have been destroyed. And the king asked, well, how can I help you? With a prayer to God, my printer is doing whatever it's doing. With a prayer to God. So he prayed to God and then replied, if it pleases the king, if you are pleased with me, your servant, send me to Judah to rebuild the city where my ancestors, right? Send me back home. But let me read you out this book really quickly. Let me read it a different way in this book that I'm reading right here. It says, the king saw his downcast countenance and asked, what is wrong with you? The king is not a Jew, right? So it made it a point in the book to say that the king is not one of God's people, okay? It says he was a heathen king. I hear calling names. Listen to me, please. But because God rules over all kings, God had already put it in King Art's heart to rebuild what had been destroyed in the city. So when Nehemiah told the king what was troubling him, that the city was left in ruin, the gates were burned, all the things, right? And that he had no rest in knowing his city was like that. The king was ready to grant him official permission, including finances and troops, to go back to the land and rebuild the walls. The king even commanded his army to accompany Nehemiah because Babylon was some distance from Jerusalem, and there were nations in between the two cities that were hostile to Jews. These other people did not want to see Jerusalem restored. Let me tell you what the point of this whole thing is. When I read the first couple sentences, you know what God told me? This message today ain't got a sexy title. El tema de hoy. Don't lie and say you all right. What? Don't lie and say you all right. What happened was Nehemiah had this disposition. He was sad. The king looked at him and asked him, what's wrong with you? Now, here's the thing. Stop right there. If Nehemiah had have lied and said, I'm all right, nothing's wrong, he would not have gotten the help that God had prepared for him to give. Prepared the king to give to him. God had probed the heart of King Art, who was not of God's people. This man is not he's Babylonian, okay? Which means that he was one of the people who captured, right? Oh my God. Nehemiah is a captive for the people of Babylon. God had primed or prepared or changed the heart of this king to be ready to give Nehemiah what he was needing. All Nehemiah had to do was open his mouth and ask. Let me tell you what I wrote down. Don't lie and say you're all right because God is going to give you what you need through someone you never would have expected it to come from. If Nehemiah would have lied and said nothing was wrong when the king asked him, he would have never gotten the finances, the troop, and the security to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem for God's people. You lie and say you're all right when you're not. You're going to miss the help. You're going to miss it. You're going to miss the love. You're going to miss the assistance. You're going to miss everything. Let me tell you this line that Tim Ross said. Shout out to him because it's the realest thing I've ever heard, especially in this season. He said, God wanted us to make vulnerability normal. I feel like we're all, especially now in a time we're so desperate for vulnerability. We actually are desperate for it. But we also have created a space that rejects it so intensely. We're the only species on the planet that works against itself. I didn't even say all the things I wanted to say, but I hope you get the point. This hit me so hard because this is exactly what I've been doing for the past year, almost decade. And even before that, I'm talking about even before I lost my best friend, even before that was a very big trigger in my life. Even before that, we get so used to saying, oh, how are you? I'm fine. That's like, we on autopilot with that response. I'm fine. When you're not, your bills are overdue. You just broke up with somebody. Your heart is broken. You don't know what you're about to eat next. Your job is getting on your nerve. People are intimidating you. You are in between transitions in life. You don't know what to do. You're sad. You're depressed. You feel anxious. You feel sad. You feel depressed. You don't know what to do. But we always say, I'm fine. Because we think people don't care. But we as humans need connection. That's it. That's it. Go about your business. My God, si nadie te ha dicho hoy. Esta día que te estoy hablando a ti mismo. If nobody has told you today, I promise you I love you. And I love me because, listen, life be lifing. But guess what? We are going to prosper regardless. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.